Hello, hello, it's Deb, and I spell that with two B's, and I help people be people. This is just kind of an experiment. This is just how I love to create. I love to hit record, see what comes through. I never real some I never really know the subject or category of what the conversation might lead to. So as far as finding descriptions or titles for my videos, they are going to be a little random, and maybe one day I'll get organized, but it seems like every time I try to organize things or put things in a box or labeled, then a lot of the inspiration of whatever message is coming through usually gets lost, so I try to avoid that. I like to do my videos raw. I don't like to do any editing. I'm sure as I go forward I'll get better with sound and lighting, of course, but as far as trying to cut out sentences or things, judging myself of, oh, I shouldn't have said that, or maybe like I'm just not going to do that. It is what it is. I do my best to keep my ums, ahs, and pauses to a minimum so that you can spend more time listening, learning, and hopefully feeling like something resonates with you. And when I hit play today with this one, confidence is what came to my mind. I mentioned in a video earlier of having a confidence to hit record. I'm literally just talking to a phone right now. I have to pretend that someone out there is going to benefit from this, that someone is going to sit and listen to this while they go about their day or watch it. Like, I'm creating to create. I would love it if people took value out of what I create, but also it's a lot for me. But I have a different insight into the way things are and the way things can be, and so I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. So just quick introduction there, 2 minutes worth of introduction. Trying to get the hang of this. It'll get better as time goes on, I promise. Confidence. I grew up in a very modest household. I was not someone who I wore socks with sandals. I had tan lines at my ankles. My shorts were barely a few inches above my knees, so I had really bad tan lines from I had bad tan lines because I loved to be outside, but I had a modest household upbringing. I wasn't allowed to wear tank tops. All my bathing suits were always one piece. And so by the time I got to junior high, I didn't wear shorts. I didn't wear skirts. I just wore pants, and baggy pants for a long time too. It wasn't until boys kind of started telling me, actually a lot of time frames of my life, the only reason I started dressing more feminine was because a boy was like, hey, why don't you dress more feminine? Because I remember I would love to wear dresses and have my hair in curls as a little child, and then as I got older and got boobs, I just felt like I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want to draw attention to me. I had boobs before a lot of other people, and then I breastfed and made bad health choices, and actually not even that. Bodybuilding loses your boob fat. Thank you very much. Through bodybuilding and things. Anyways, back on track. I was not a confident person. I was shy, and I would sit back and read the room. I wouldn't engage. Even if people were having fun, I wouldn't really engage. I needed alcohol to feel like I could express myself, of which I learned I didn't really agree with a lot of the people I was around, so expressing myself didn't always go well. And then once I found health and fitness, that's really where it changed. By the time I had my second baby, I had learned what clean eating was, what whole food versus processed food meant. I knew the difference between hydrogenated fats and oils and the healthy fats and oils that you find in avocados, nuts and seeds, and even full fat dairy stuff. And like those things have their place, right? And I learned the difference between complex carbs and simple carbs. I learned the importance of drinking water. I had cut out soda completely and switched from any white breads, white tortillas. I switched those, any pastas, I switched all that to wheat, of which, as I progressed through the decades, even the wheat berries have now are just so heavy that and glutenized that even those have issues. Anyways, point is, by the time my second child came around, so that's like a difference of 7 years, I felt great. I was doing outdoor jogging with the baby in his stroller. I would do the Wii Fit workouts at home. I had my little Pilates weights, and my legs looked great. I learned some body weight movements to do things at home, and I started wearing shorts again. I did go tanning a lot, so it balanced. First baby, I just covered myself from head to toe, allowed all the tan lines to go away to where I was just white as a ghost. And then by the time the second baby came around, I had a full-on gorgeous tan, paid for from tanning beds, of which I did get skin cancer, still do. Yes, skin cancer is a thing, so I don't suggest the tanning beds, but they can be helpful in the winter when you do you get vitamin D from tanning beds? I'm not really sure how all that works. I don't want to spread any false information on those. So I guess that was the turning point for my confidence. I didn't know where that story was kind of going in the beginning, but it started off, I was a tomboy, and I found my confidence in being able to run faster than everyone, and I felt ahead of my peers in many categories, and I just still didn't feel that confident until you raise a couple babies and stand up against a couple bullies that say they love you. You learn some confidence and boundaries really fast. Boundaries. That's probably where a lot of the confidence comes from too. When you know what you stand for, you know what you don't stand for, it's a lot easier to feel confident in your voice and your opinions and your boundaries. And I will say I've definitely have my own patterns that I have cycled back to, where I walked into something knowing I didn't like something. I walked into things specifically knowing that it didn't check a box. In fact, it was the opposite of the checking of the box, and I knew that, and I continued with it anyways. And on that subject, every time you do that, every time you sacrifice like your needs, wants, desires, or values just to people please a little bit, and not even people please, but just like, oh, maybe you really like someone and want to get to know them better, and so maybe this little box isn't that big of a deal. Maybe you can just shove it down while you get to know this person. But that's never worth it. If you ever have to shove any part of yourself away in order to move closer to someone, that person's not someone you should be moving close to. Anything that doesn't fit your values and boundaries needs to be a hard no in order for you to trust your confidence, in order for you to trust that you know how to listen to your gut, in order for you to trust knowing that as your decisions stack up and build and time goes on, and a year later, 6 months later, a year later, 2 years later, when you're looking back at the coulda, shoulda, wouldas, you want to know with full trust that the you that you were in that moment fully trusted that that option, that choice, that answer, that was the right choice in that right moment to the best of your knowledge. But if you're constantly being wishy-washy on your values or boundaries or what you like, what you don't like, then looking back, it's easy to have those doubts because you're like, oh, should I? It's easy to have doubts if you don't listen to yourself. But if you know that you're always listening to yourself, you know that you're always tuning into your body, you know that you always feel like you are doing the best choice for yourself, for your reality, then looking back in the past, you'll be able to have a lot more compassion for your choices. And in that, they say depression comes from the past. You're reliving the past. You're reminiscing about the past. What's the word I'm looking for? Anxiety is about the future and depression is about the past. So if you can just trust your past more, you're going to be able to trust your future more. And in that, it just comes from trusting the present. I hope some of this helps. It's a lot of talk for a little bit of. The point is, confidence comes from taking your time with the choices in the moment and making sure that you feel clear that that is the best choice for you with the knowledge that you have at that moment. If you're always giving your best, you never have to question the what ifs. And if there's anything that you're struggling with confidence, or if there's anything that resonated in here that you would like more information on, definitely reach out, message me, leave a comment below. I'm here for it. So let's collaborate. Cheers.